Welcome to Brand for Good, the show for purpose-driven leaders who want to build timeless brands and create sustainable impact. I'm Lorraine Sugart, former PR and marketing executive turned founder of the disruptive agency Prosper for Purpose. I've worked with some of the world's most beloved brands, and I'm here to help you elevate your brand identity, visibility, influence, and impact. Are you ready to brand for good? Let's go. Today's conversation is one I think a lot of business owners need to hear, especially if you've ever felt overwhelmed by content creation or frustrated by platforms that reward noise over substance. My guest today is Nate Woodbury, CEO of Be the Hero Studios, and a leading authority on using YouTube as a search-driven engine for thought leadership and lead generation. Nate has helped produce more than 60 successful YouTube channels, and he works with coaches, consultants, and speakers who want their ideas to actually get found and trusted. His work isn't about chasing virality. It's about building a system that turns your expertise into visibility, credibility, and clients over time. Nate is also the author of A Hero's Guide to Influence on YouTube, where he breaks down how creators can position themselves as the clear authority in their niche without burning out or gaming the algorithm. Nate, welcome to Brand for Good. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, awesome to be here.
So I am really intrigued by this topic. Can you tell us a little bit about why you decided to focus your development of thought leadership for yourself and your clients on YouTube?
Yeah, great question. So I've been focusing on YouTube for about 12 years now, and I've had my company 16 years. So for that short period in the beginning, I had a custom web design service and I had an SEO service, so I could get their web pages ranked at the top of Google. And one day I was looking at the data and I noticed that this web page that we had ranking number one on Google, which by the way took a lot of work. There were dozens of things that we had to do to make that happen. I noticed that a YouTube video that we had on the page, over on YouTube itself, it was getting 50 times more views than this page ranking number one on Google. And
Wow.
that caught my attention. And so I started looking at other pages that we had ranking on Google, and the same thing. The YouTube videos were getting way more traffic. And I like results and I love efficiency. So I figured, let's just pivot and let's just focus on the YouTube part, because we can just do that one piece and get way better results. And in the couple of years that followed, I pivoted away and closed down the web design service and SEO service because I found a niche that I could really get better results from, and the rest is history.
So that is really interesting because you glossed over the fact that you not necessarily took a complete leap of faith because the data was there, but still that would be pretty scary for most company owners, myself included, to say, we're just going to shut down what's been our bread and butter to focus on something new. Can you tell me, did you just say, I'm doing it, or was there a process in making that decision?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I made it sound a little bit quicker than it was, but so here's the challenge that I had. What I had seen is single individual scenarios of this strategy. And in my mind, I then went bigger. And I'm like, imagine if we went all in on a YouTube channel, what could happen? So I
Yeah.
put together an idea of a program or a service that I could help clients with. And I tried to sell it. I couldn't because I didn't have a track
Hmm.
record of it. I tried to sell it at cost, so no profit to me,
Wow.
and no one would buy it. So what I did is I reached out to about 6 people, if I remember right, that I thought this would be such a perfect program for, and I offered my services for free to them
Mm.
in exchange for partnership. We would share in the future profits of this. 2 people said, yeah, let's do it. Those 2 channels over the next year and beyond really took off. They became wild successes, not just in viral YouTube channel, but in a channel that generated leads for these businesses, hugely profitable. And so at that point, other people came to me and said, all right, Nate, we've seen what you've done. We want you to do the same for me. And that's when I was able to close down my web design service and
Okay.
others. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's really interesting. You just spotted this opportunity and went for it. And yeah, it wasn't like overnight. There are people that are just like, burn the boats, we're going for this. But it sounds like you did a little bit more. And that's something that comes up a lot in my conversations with clients as well, especially when they're adding a new layer of their business or a new service, as should I offer this for free to get some data. And I always say, if that's what it takes, then do it, because you've got to have the proof that your solution works. So I think that's just underscores that fact.
Yeah, I've come to come up with a little philosophy since then of an expert actually becoming a thought leader or selling services as a consultant. There are
Hmm.
three different levels. So one, you can gain knowledge through study, right? You read books and you see what other people have done, and so then you gain a whole bunch of knowledge. Does that give you a right to consult people? I would say probably not yet.
I'd
But when you
agree.
have that knowledge and then you go out yourself and you apply it and you
Mhm.
achieve some goal, okay, that's a higher level. You've actually been able to apply it in the real world and figure out what works and what doesn't work. And at that point, can you consult? And I would say to a degree, yes, but there is a higher
Mhm.
level. A higher level is, can you take somebody else and have them achieve that same result? That's an amazing position of thought leadership where you not only know how to do it yourself, but you know how to help other people and take them by the hand and get that same amount of results. So I didn't know these principles back then, but I just needed to find a way of finding success. And yeah, I don't think that there's so much involved with this YouTube strategy and so much. When I say there's so much involved, yeah, there's things, a list of things to do, but the difficult part is actually sorting through all the misconceptions out there. And it's not that a lot of stuff out there about YouTube strategy is not true, but what I've discovered is there's actually two different paths that kind of go in opposite directions. And so you can get really confused about, if my video goes viral, isn't that a good thing? And don't I really want to focus on subscribers and ad revenue? And but if your focus is lead generation like this, you've got to unlearn some of those other things.
So, how do you approach YouTube in terms of thought leadership? Is it that you should get on there and do mini teachings? Is it that you should take your podcast to YouTube? Or is it custom depending on the person you work with?
Yeah, great question. So let me come at this from a little bit different perspective and explain why I feel like YouTube is such a big opportunity. So the internet keeps changing.
Yes, it's
In the last couple of years, we've seen an awesome change with AI, and ChatGPT is a favorite tool of mine. Going back, I discovered this unique thing with YouTube about 12 years ago. Since that time, Google has changed quite a lot. Back then, it used to be a website search engine,
hmm
but today you don't find websites on YouTube. I'll explain what I mean. If you go to, and I'll let me give you the answer first. It's more of a content search engine or even an answer engine. I might have said YouTube, and I'm talking about Google right now. So Google, if you go there right now and you do a search, you're asking a question, you're trying to solve a problem, you'll see the ads, of course. You'll see AI overview at the top.
hmm
You'll see YouTube videos that answer those questions. You'll see blog posts. You'll see Reddit. It's very rare to actually find just a link to some website. If it is a
Right.
link to a website, it's going to the blog, to the content on that
It's
page.
an answer engine. Yeah.
Yeah. So this new term that we've had in the last couple of years or even year is called answer engine optimization.
Right.
I didn't coin that, but I wish I did. What I coined is the leaf strategy, and I would say the leaf strategy is answer engine optimization.
Okay.
I look
Yeah.
at Google as an answer engine, YouTube as an answer engine, and
Mm.
now we have these amazing AI tools. And so the opportunity is, if you have expertise, people all around are searching for your expertise, but they don't know that you exist. So how
Right.
can you be the one put in front of them? And that is just by creating the answers. So if you
hmm
make content that answers people's questions, where can you then put that content so that they will find it? There's only a few places. You can't put that content on Facebook because it's not indexed by topic. You can't put it on LinkedIn,
Correct.
Instagram, X. If you put the content on YouTube, it is indexed. Every single word of it's transcribed. It's searchable by topic on YouTube. That index is sent to Google, so your video is searchable by content on Google. And these AI tools like ChatGPT index your content as well. So what's interesting, if you go back a decade ago, many of these YouTube videos that I'm talking about, they show up in ChatGPT research.
Right.
So yeah, that's why I love YouTube so much, is YouTube is like the key that unlocks Google and ChatGPT as well. There's no other place that you can put content that will get you results like that.
So back to my podcast versus educational content. Could both of those fit into that category? Could someone who's an expert say, okay, I'm going to do a YouTube podcast that kind of talks about the answers to people's burning questions and offers solutions? Or is it better to do perhaps shorter videos? I guess podcasts can be short too, that address a specific issue and just have a series of those. When you work with clients, how do you assess what approach works best for them?
All right. So if you look at all the different vehicles out there and they each have their purpose, I'm going to define it into two different categories.
Okay.
One is marketing and
Mhm.
one is nurturing.
Okay.
So nurturing meaning they already know who you are and you're continuing that relationship. Your email list is a great way to continue to nurture. If you
Right.
have YouTube subscribers and they return to watch, that's a great way to continue to nurture. A podcast is a great nurturing tool. All social media is a great nurturing tool. So how do you market then? I define marketing as getting in front of new people who've never heard of you before.
Okay.
Okay, so how do you market? I would say there's three ways. You pay advertising. There's pros and cons to that. The pros would be it's scalable. You can really tweak and fine tune your funnel. You can test and iterate. The disadvantage of paid advertising is low quality leads. You're interrupting people. They're annoyed. They put up their defenses. So when you do generate leads, you've got to overcome a lot of barriers.
Right.
So that's one of the three ways that you can market is ads. Another way is going viral. So going viral gets you in front of new people who've never heard of you before. It's not really good for lead gen though. You can have a video, well, if you've ever had a post go viral or a video go viral, let's say it's got 1 million views, it doesn't generate leads, it doesn't
Right.
generate clients. So is it marketing? Oh, according to my definition, it is, but it's not effective marketing.
Right.
And that leaves search. If you focus on search, then people who've never heard of you before, but by their questions, they are your dream clients, you can target them through search and just creating content that answers questions. So now to answer your question directly, a podcast can be a wonderful nurturing tool. I wish there was a centralized search engine for podcasts, but there's not.
Mm,
And so the challenge with trying to go after search strategy with a podcast is it's just not indexed that way.
got it. That's helpful. All right. So I know that you've worked with over 60 successful YouTube channels. Can you tell us a little bit about what the initial steps might be for a coach or speaker looking to build their own platform on YouTube?
Sure. I mean, if you have expertise, you've built a business around it, and that can mean a great variety of businesses. This strategy doesn't apply to a lot of businesses as well, but I'll describe who it does work for. And let me go right in the middle too, because when I was going to college, I was pursuing dentistry. I thought I wanted to be a dentist. So I'll just pick on dentists. All right. If typical dentists, they just have a local business. They have patients come in and they drill and fill their teeth. And so it wouldn't make sense for them if, say, somebody was a dentist in Colorado, it wouldn't make sense for them if they found somebody interested in oral health care in New York. I mean, but if a dentist wanted to create an oral health training program or teaching people about anything to do with their expertise and sell a course or have an online membership, that would make sense then for them to have a global platform. And one of my clients, she's an OBGYN. She does have local patients, but she also has a global audience that she teaches women's health to. And so anyone that has expertise, whether you're a coach, a speaker, an author, a mentor, you have courses that you sell, or you do any type of training like a financial services professional. I've got a client, Stan, the annuity man. Now, when he came to me, he was an annuity agent. He knew annuities inside and out, and so he had a
Uh-huh.
successful business. But he told me his goal. He says, I want to be America's #1 annuity agent.
Mm.
And so he hired me to produce his channel and follow the strategy that I teach. But he also tried anything he can think of. He did paid ads, he did podcasts, interviews on others, and he had his own podcast. He would submit articles to Forbes and lots of other places, and probably a dozen other different things. Fast forward to today, he is America's #1 annuity agent by 4 times.
Wow.
He's closed down all the other channels. YouTube he says YouTube is the one that did it. YouTube is the one that put me on the top. And he's just an expert on annuities. People answer really specific questions. What does this rider do? Or what's the best annuity for this scenario? And he'll just make videos answering those questions. They find him, they see him as the annuity expert, and they have him set up their annuities for them. So, yeah, hopefully that gives you some clarity.
Yeah, no, that's really good. So you have a strategy that you have developed for YouTube search. What are some of the common mistakes that people make that you see people making when they're trying to utilize YouTube for lead generation?
All right. The biggest mistake is creating content that we want to create.
I want to
Um,
talk about this. It has nothing to do with anything. Is that what you're?
because the hard part is the motivation, or
Yeah,
just there's a lot of things that might stop us from getting on camera. But when there's a topic that we're excited to talk about, I totally get it. My strategy just involves a step beforehand. Before we film, we've got to do research, and you might call it keyword research, but it's different than what we did for website SEO. I would
right.
now call it question research, because you
Mhm.
want to find the questions that your dream clients are asking online. And it takes some digging, but typically you'll find questions that are 8 words long or 10 words long. The reason I mentioned the amount of words in the question is the more words there are in the question, the more specific it is, and the more data you know about the person who's asking the question. It
Yeah.
might be a topic in your niche or in your industry, but with more words, if they're your target audience or not. And so you can just fine tune and pick only answering the questions that your dream clients are asking. So that's the biggest correct thing to do, is start with that question research and find those questions. And so now all the content you're making is what your dream clients want you to make, instead of trying to worry about something that will go viral or worrying about current events or something that I'm excited about.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So, in my intro of you, I included that you talk about earning $10,000 from just 100 YouTube views. Can you break down how that's possible and what key factors have to be in play for that to happen?
Yeah, I often use that example in comparison to the other type of YouTube strategy. So let's say you're an entertainer or a vlogger on YouTube. If you wanted to generate $10,000, YouTube sends you a check. How many views do you need to do that? You need about 1 million views.
Mm.
So that's what we're comparing it against is, okay, if we get 1 million views, we can generate $10,000. And I'm saying, hey, you follow this strategy of Nate Woodbury. I call it the leaf strategy. You can generate $10,000 with just 100 views. How do you do that? I'll give you a real example from my client, Noelle Randall. So she teaches real estate investing, and she has a program that she sells for $10,000. It's a 6 month program, and by the end of the program, her clients will have positive cash flow on a property or two, right?
Okay.
So they hire her, they go through this program. There's a lot of learning and implementation. By the end, they're profitable real estate investors themselves. Because she's answering these people's questions or wanting to know how to invest, or they have questions about real estate, they find her video. They're like your ideal audience. They watch her videos all the way to the end, because it's not like you're trying to find people, hey, watch this video. Do you like it? Watch this video. Do you like it? But
Yeah.
you're in front of the right people. So those 100 views from search are actually way more valuable than 1 million viral views. So out of those
Mm.
100 views, she'll generate about 10 leads. And how she does that is she doesn't sell in her videos, she just teaches and
Mhm.
answers those questions. At the end of the video, One of her free gifts is a free book. Hey, I've got a free book. You cover the printing and shipping costs, but no profit to me. You can get my book for free. She also does webinars or other things, but so they'll become a lead at the end of the video. And so 100 views becomes 10 leads. 10 leads turns into 3 conversations. And out of those 3 conversations, one will buy her program. Sometimes the numbers aren't exact, but those are real numbers that Noelle has experienced. And if you do get 100 views from search, you can see how that math would work.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the leaf strategy. Can you explain how this impacts YouTube SEO and why it's so effective?
So I use an analogy of a tree where
Okay.
the trunk represents your core area of expertise. The branches are all the different ways you can categorize that. And
Hmm.
the leaves represent these specific questions that we've been talking about.
Okay.
So I say, don't make videos on branch topics or trunk topics. Always make videos on the leaves. And that's just a way that really helps people get clarity on what I mean. The more specific you can go on these questions, the better. Another insight that I can share is when you're doing this question research, and I can recommend a resource. The website is semrush.com. They have a tool called the Keyword Magic Tool, and I
Okay.
can recommend a 2-week free trial. I'm an affiliate with them now. So if listeners want to go to herokeywordtool.com, they can get a 2-week free trial. So when you have this picture in mind of the trunk, the branches, and the leaves, this tool allows you to find the leaves. So you can go to the keyword or herokeywordtool.com,
Hmm.
type in your branch or type in your trunk, and it will show you the questions there. And you can find those that are really specific. You can know who your target audience is. So the next step is, all right, I know the question that my dream clients are asking, and I recommend on the entire tree, there's going to be thousands of questions that you could answer.
Right.
But if you compare one branch to another, you can hone in on branches that every leaf on that branch is your dream client. So that's where you want to start.
Okay.
And when you're looking at a lot of these questions, some of them will have numbers of, ooh, this question gets asked 600 times a month. Ooh, this one gets asked 1,000 times a month. This one
Hmm.
over here gets asked 10 times a month. And people often look at those questions that have 10 or 20 a month and they think, that's a small number. Here is the gold. If listeners will pay attention to this part right here, they will succeed with this strategy. Start with the tens. Don't start with the 500s and the 600s. The 500s, the 600s, whatever that number is, those have the most competition. But if you start with the tens, and then once you dominate the tens, then go to the 20s, then go to the 30s, you can actually literally dominate the entire branch. So anytime somebody goes to YouTube or to Google or to Chat GPT and they start typing in a question about your expertise, you'll be the one at the top on that specific branch. I haven't found a case where it doesn't work. It just works all over the
That's
place.
so interesting. Flip the script. So I was going to ask you what the secret to achieving YouTube domination in a specific niche in just 4 months was. Is this part of that?
That's exactly it. Yeah.
That's so good. I really like that. It's so counterintuitive, and it's so interesting that sometimes the counterintuitive thing is what will actually move the needle.
Yeah, because when you listen to other YouTube experts online and if they talk about keyword research, a lot of times it's ironic because they don't focus on search traffic. They focus on viral or suggested traffic on YouTube. For
Yeah.
some reason, they feel like they need to talk about keyword research. When they talk about it, they miss a lot of things. But the one thing that I'm talking about now is they talk about, yeah, find something that has a high search volume. That would be great for you to rank for. Well, I agree that it would be great for you to rank for that, but the path to rank for it is not to go directly at it. You've got to go a little bit deeper and start to get traction on these questions that other people aren't willing to answer because they don't think 10 is worth it. You can generate
Mm.
leads from, I mean, if you have 10 views on a video that's from search, you'll probably generate a lead. And
Yeah.
you don't need big numbers. But if you, let's say you find 50 different videos that are on this branch, and most of them are search volume of 10 per month, you take the time to film and answer all 50 questions then it's pretty much a guaranteed thing that you are going to own that branch. And so the ones that have the higher search volume, you'll eventually rank for those without having to target them specifically.
I really like that. So tell us what it's like to work with you. If people are listening right now and going, this sounds great. This sounds like a wonderful way to attract new people into my sphere of influence and potentially get more leads. What would it be like for them to work with you? Is this like a one-on-one situation, or what does the process look like?
Yeah, so there's two main ways. One is through consulting. They might want to just have my help with the strategy and have me make sure that all the effort that they put in is going to get results. So it's going to
Right.
generate leads, it'll be profitable for them. And so they'll take care of all the filming, the lighting, the editing can take a while, especially when we do a filming day, we'll film 20 episodes in a day. That gives
That's
you
a
then a lot of
lot.
work after that.
Uh,
Thumbnails are pretty challenging, and then you've got to launch everything on YouTube. So that's one way is I can consult and make sure that all your efforts are going to get you results. And the other way is I have a done for you service.
mhm.
So I live in Utah, and where I'm recording from today is actually my Utah filming house, not my
Okay.
home, but I also have a filming house in Orlando. And so clients will fly to either Utah or Florida. We'll have a filming day of 20 episodes in a day, and we take care of everything that we can for you to make it a lot easier. So we do all the editing, we make you look great on camera, we do all the thumbnails, and we manage everything on YouTube. So depending on what people are looking for, depending on their industry, make sure that there's a match. Is it likely that you're going to make a certain amount of revenue that would make, is the investment small compared to the return that we see?
Exactly. Right. And how important is some of the things that you've mentioned, like the thumbnails? We see videos that have special effects and all of that. What is the minimum that someone needs if they're going to be on YouTube versus those are things that might be nice to have or maybe you never even want?
Yeah, the good news is for this type of video, you can film with your iPhone, right?
Okay.
Make sure your audio is good, make sure you're facing a window instead of having a window behind you, so your lighting
Yeah.
is good. But with this type of a video, treat it more like a one-on-one Zoom call or a FaceTime call where you're having this call with somebody who's asking you a question. So if you've got the
Mm,
value, if you've really got a good answer, you've got a good solution for somebody, then you don't need all the flashy editing and fancy cameras. Now, will that stuff improve your video? Sure. Will it
yeah.
improve your results? Maybe a percent or two or five, I don't know. But you'll get clients, you'll have success without all the fancy stuff. The biggest thing is it's time consuming. It's time consuming to be a one man band and setting up all the
Right.
lighting and camera and stuff. But in the early days of your business, I actually recommend starting there.
Mhm.
That once you have been through the trenches of the filming, you've experienced editing and creating the style of editing that you want, and keep it simple. Sometimes if you add too many transitions and effects and whatnot, then you start to really look amateur. People can tell, oh, you're new to this.
Yeah.
So just keep it simple. Thumbnails are pretty important. Thumbnails are challenging, but there are a lot of free tools like Canva that can allow you to use templates and patterns and just give it your best guess. YouTube gives you a lot of tools themselves where you can upload a couple thumbnails at a time if you want to test which one performs better. So yeah, there is a lot to do, but you can start where you're at. You don't need to have the latest and greatest camera or anything like that.
Okay, that's good to know. I think that's good for a lot of our listeners. Can you walk us through a client success story where you did the whole done for you system and significantly transformed their YouTube channel and lead generation strategy?
Sure. A couple examples I gave with Stan the Annuity Man, with Noelle Randall. When she came to me, Noelle's the real estate investing lady. She had already built her business to $1 million in revenue in the previous year, and she had done that
Okay.
through Facebook ads. She had seen what I had done on another YouTube channel in the real estate space. So she hired me within, I want to say, I'm forgetting the number now. It's either, we'll just call it 4 months. It might be plus or minus a month there.
Okay.
But about
Yeah.
the 4 month mark, she completely turned off her Facebook ads because the leads coming from YouTube were far better. And
Got it.
with about 7 months in, she got to a point where she was doing as much as 10 strategy sessions a day, so potential client phone calls a day, and she had a 2.5 month waiting list.
Oh my gosh.
So fast forward 2 years, and her revenue was about 6 million a year.
Great. For both of them, they turned off their other revenue streams or their other potential revenue streams.
Yeah, and that's not a requirement. I don't say you've got to turn off everything
No,
else.
no,
They
no,
just
no.
typically get such great results. So whatever anyone is currently doing and getting results from, keep doing that, add YouTube to it, and then eventually you'll get to a point where you can gauge if you want to keep doing those other things. I do have many dozens of examples of clients that I could share. Let me tell you another one. Doug Andrews. Doug Andrews, a financial services professional, very successful in business. In fact, prior to me starting this company, I actually worked in the financial services space for about 6 years.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
my branch manager recommended his book to me. I remember it. It's called Missed Fortune. So I knew of Doug Andrew.
Hmm.
A few years ago, he saw me speak. He hired me to produce his channel, and his channel was doing well. And every month when we would film, he would say, "Oh yeah, his free gift is a book." And so he would say, "Yeah,
Okay.
we're shipping out about 100 books a week." And then a month later, "Yeah, we're shipping out about 130 books a week." Okay, after about a year, he said, "Nate, I've got to tell you about something else." He said, "I used to do a lot of speaking, insurance companies and different associations and financial events or whatever. I would be speaking a lot all over the country, but I haven't done that for years and years." He said, "Except this last year, I've been getting asked to speak again." And in
Mm.
conversations he would have with the meeting planners, they told him, "Yeah, we knew who you were because we've read your books. You were the guy, but we didn't know you were still in the game. But we see your YouTube channel
Oh, yeah.
and we see that you are still the top guy. You're on your game, and we want you to come and speak." So it's really helped for professional speakers to really grow their speaking career too.
Oh, I really like that. How many times a week does your average client post a video to YouTube?
Most of my done for you clients were launching 5 episodes a week.
Okay.
So that's a lot.
It's a lot.
And over the 10 to 12 years that we've been doing this, most of my clients have been at that pace. In the last 2 years, that's where I've really honed in and realized, look, instead of looking at the whole tree and just picking leaves all over the tree that we like, let's focus on single branches at a time.
Okay.
Doing that, we can get away with just 1 episode a week and still get results.
Oh, that's so interesting. Why do you think that is?
Let me just give you a real example what led me to discover that. Noelle Randall, that I mentioned before, real estate, I'd been producing her channel for a few years, and we just wanted to find some new topics what are some new opportunities? Because she felt like, I think I'm answering all these questions. I feel like I'm running out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know that there's plenty more out there. So I started to group and organize them into these branches.
Right.
And I found branches like, oh, look, here's a branch that you've never covered before. Is this your target audience? And she said, oh, wow, this one, if I could dominate every single one of those, that would be my dream. And she saw another branch that was similar, and she said, this actually isn't my target audience. And interesting, she had already filmed a few questions on that branch, but seeing it in that clarity.
Yeah.
And basically, if in a year, there are 52 weeks. And if
Right.
you look at a single branch and there's 30 leaves on that branch, I think that's how many there were for this branch I found for Noelle. If you just launch 1 episode a week, you can still dominate that branch in
Yeah.
30 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's just a tactical approach that really works. And so a lot of businesses, it's more realistic for them to launch with 1 episode a week. And then as they start to build momentum, then you can consider increasing to 2. And I still recommend filming 20 episodes in a day, but think about how effective that is. If you're going to launch one
Yeah, for
episode a week,
sure.
that's 20 weeks worth of content that you've just done in a single day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's pretty good.
yeah, now the strategy can work no matter what your scenario is.
Yeah. No, I love that. Let's talk about keywords for a minute. How do you help your clients focus on keywords? And are you focusing more on the long tail keywords now? Kind of answer that question.
Yeah, so keywords themselves, I would say, is a dead strategy.
Is it?
Um,
Okay.
well, and I'll back up what I'm saying. Keywords were really important. They used to be important on YouTube. You would put keywords in the keyword field or the tag field. You would need to put keywords in your description. On your website, you have to put in the keywords or the metadata and make sure those keywords are throughout your page. Well, now it's a futile effort to try and get your website to rank on Google. Websites just don't rank on Google anymore, no matter what you do. Blogs
Mhm.
do. And blogs, you don't need a lot of effort. The easiest way to create a blog is you create a YouTube video following the leaf strategy. Then you can embed that video at the top of your blog page. You can take the YouTube transcript and have ChatGPT write it as a blog post, put that below it. You don't really have to worry about metadata or tags or anything. The search engines are a lot smarter. They analyze everything with AI. Just think about YouTube. YouTube transcribes every single word that you say. And so you can actually, they still have the keyword field. You have to dig to find it. You have to
Okay.
go into advanced. But if you find it and you put in keywords in there that actually aren't what your video is about, you'll get penalized.
That's good.
You might as well just leave it blank. YouTube knows what your video is about.
Yeah.
It will analyze the imagery of your videos. It'll analyze the imagery of your thumbnail. And so it knows what objects you're showing. It will know if your content is family friendly or not. And so you don't have to worry about keywords. Now, the phrase long tail, I would say a leaf title is ultra long tail, because back in the
Okay.
day of website SEO, long tail might mean 4 words or 5 words. And here I am recommending, hey, find questions that are 8 words long or 10 words long.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wonderful. So I understand that you have a free training on the leaf strategy. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Most every week I do a live webinar.
Okay.
And I take people behind the scenes and I show them how to do this question research. And basically, I teach the 5 ingredients of that leaf strategy. So the webinar is theleafstrategy.com. So
Okay.
leaf as in leaves on a tree, theleafstrategy.com.
And we'll put that in the show notes. And how can people find and connect with you, Nate?
That would be the best way. You can find me on YouTube, but I'd recommend the best places just go to the
Are
webinar.
there? Yeah. Thank you so much for your time today. It was really interesting in learning more about YouTube. I think it's this big area that a lot of people know they should be considering, but it just feels so overwhelming. So you made it feel approachable, and I really appreciate that. And I really thank you for your time today and sharing your expertise with my listeners.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
So thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time on Brand for Good.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Brand for Good show. If you like what you heard, please hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode, and leave a review so other purpose-driven leaders can find this valuable content. To learn more about building a brand for good, please visit prosperforpurpose.com for more resources and information on all the ways you can work with us.